welcome back to another episode or mini vlog of the Yarn Curator podcast. My name is Naomi. Welcome to currently my couch. I kind of move around as I film things. Thought I'd check in with you guys because today I am spinning up a little bit of fiber that I picked up when I was in Texas this weekend, and I thought I would just do a little spin along with you guys. Sorry, I'm caught in my curtains. We are having the most deliciously finally fall weather here in Florida. There's a little bit of a chill in the air. I have the windows open in my house. I am a happy woman. So yeah, welcome everyone. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I am the Yarn Curator on Instagram, and I am House of Cardigans on Ravelry. I do try and stay up to date on my Ravelry page, and I am most active on Instagram. So yeah, without further ado, like I said, I was in Austin, Texas last weekend. My friend Amelia got married, so if you're a follower of the vlog, you'll have learned about the shawl I knit for her. That went very well, got lots of compliments, so and she was an absolutely gorgeous bride. But anyways, that is not the point of today's video. Today I was going to talk to you a little bit about some fiber I picked up while I was there. So my mother-in-law lives in Georgetown, Texas. It's about an hour or so north of Austin, depending on where you're going. I was going down to South Austin for a lot of the wedding activities. So it was about an hour from where they live in Georgetown, so a little bit less if you're on the northern end. That doesn't really matter though. When she picked me up from the airport, I had asked her if she would maybe want to hit a few of the yarn shops in the area. And so she took me, one of the places we went to was called A Sheep at the Wheel. It's located in Georgetown, not too far from where they live. Had a lovely time in there chatting with the owner, whose name I can't remember at the moment, so I apologize for that. Anyways, I picked up a bat there, and it's called Bad Little You. Hold up the label there for you guys. This is 100% Coriadel. It might be a Coriadel cross because there's a little X at the end of it. And it's give or take 50 grams, although I think she was underestimating that because I split my braid or the bat in half to spin it, and each side was closer to about 30 grams. So, hey, better for me. I've already spun one bobbin. It's this really gorgeous bat. It goes from a really vibrant kind of orange tangerine color into this raspberry color. When it was all balled up, it looked like a much plumper version of this, but it was kind of like this. What I went ahead and did is I wanted to make a 2-ply out of this. So since it's a gradient, I split off this half of the bat over here, started spinning the orange, and then worked my way through the pinky reds. I've been having a bit of a think, and I was like, well, maybe I want to do a 3-ply, and I'll chain ply this, and I could pick back up where the red is in here, and I can spin it so it would go from orange to red, pink, back to orange. But then I decided I want to go back to the original plan of a 2-ply. So yeah, I've already done one bobbin. I did this a couple nights ago. I think I need to add a little bit more twist into this single though, so I'll get that going in 1 second. So I have been spinning this semi-woolen, semi-worsted, which is typically how I tend to spin no matter what the fiber prep. It's just what I default to. So you can see there, that's a little underspun. So for my wheel, I have a Shat flat iron, and they just released this model design style of wheel. I got one of the first years that they did it, and that was probably, it was either 2016 or 2017. It was kind of towards the end of the year, so I don't really remember. I apologize. But it had just come out when I got it, and that was when I lived at Colorado at the time, and I lived about an hour from Boulder, so it was really cool to pick up a wheel, you know, from somewhere local to me. So I'm just going to get that, add that little bit of twist into that single there. So I absolutely love it. At some point I plan on doing a review, even though I don't feel like I'm the most knowledgeable spinner to be able to do a review of different wheels. I've spun on a variety of different brands because when I took Introduction to Spinning, each week we tried a different wheel. So I've spun on Lewitt, Lendrum, Ashford, Shat, and I don't think they had any Magicrafts there. But I tried a lot in a lot of different styles. So to change out a bobbin, it's pretty easy on this. It has this release lever right here that pulls, I think that's the Maidenhead, pulls that forward. You slide your whirl off. I have it set up in Scotch tension right now, but it does do double drive and Irish tension as well. I'm gonna slide that bobbin off. I like to oil the shaft right here because sometimes these get a little bit chattery, and so I find that helps cut down on a little bit of bobbin chatter. So get that. This is the only thing that's really finicky with it is before you put on your whirl, go ahead and get your loop in there for your Scotch tension. I probably have grease on my face now because it is everywhere. And then go ahead and slide your whirl in. I like to add just a little bit of spinning oil there. Really any part of the wheel that moves, I add oil to before every spin. And go ahead and get a little right there. With Shat, I've noticed it helps to have just the littlest bit of wiggle room when you set that up, so that kind of moves a little. Otherwise, you can have some issues with your pickup. So yeah, I'm gonna slide this back on. So yeah, I just have the poly band on right now. At some point, I'll pull out the cotton cord and set it up to spin in double drive. Honestly, I'm lazy and I like Scotch tension. It works, it's comfortable, and I've never tried the double drive, except when I was in spinning class. I think one of the wheels I tested in class was set up in double drive. So yeah, I'm just gonna start spinning this, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit about my trip to Austin and all of that good stuff. So for those of you who have never spinned before, the way I start is I have a little bit of a leader right here with some old scrap yarn, and what you do is you just hook it around one of the hooks here, and then this is called your orifice hook, and you put that in through there. Just grab it right there like so, getting both strands in this instance, and pull it through, and so you're ready to start. One of the things I like to do before I start spinning is just checking to make sure the tension or the pickup on my wheel is where I like it. So I just spin a little there. I get a feel for how hard the tension is grabbing. So this is a little strong, so I'm gonna let that out. So yeah, I can just get a feel for how much it's tugging there on the yarn. And then yeah, everyone will spin a bat differently. Every spinner is different in how they approach them. Typically, I like to tear off chunks and work a little bit at a time. Since I am spinning this in a gradient, I'm going to go ahead and pull from the top and work my way down. But, you know, if you weren't trying to do a gradient, you could go across the grain and spin it. You could cut it up and put your pieces together randomly. It's really up to you. That's one of the things I really enjoy about spinning is the freedom you get with it. To start, I like to do what's called a worsted join, which is where I'm going to get some twist in there, but essentially you try and put in your fiber at a 45-degree angle so it's caught on there, and then yeah, you just pinch a little. Yeah, so I just like to do this. It's what's comfortable to me, and I just pinch a little and put it on. I'm actually spinning probably a little bit too fine. Yeah, the bobbin I did before in terms of fiber was probably a little bit less in weight than this half of the bat in terms of fiber, so I had a little bit more. if that makes sense. I don't think I'm making sense. I have more fiber in this half of the bat than I did in the other half. With the other bat, I was trying to spin it pretty fine, and then this one I was like, well, I'll just spin this a little plumper, and then hopefully the 2 plies will even out in the end in terms of yardage. So I think this is going to be probably between a sport and a DK weight. Probably a plump sport is what this will turn out to be, since I am spinning a little bit thicker for my singles. I've been spinning some really thin lace weight singles, and it's been resulting in a fingering weight yarn. Last year I was spinning a lot of sport to DK weights, and I think that's because I was trying to spin fast, so to speak, and so everything was just turning out a little bit plumper because I was kind of powering through all of my fiber. Whereas this year I've really been trying to slow down and enjoy the process and just making things slowly. So yeah, this is going smoothly. As you can see, I'm pinching, and then I'm just barely putting I'm barely gripping this fiber in my backhand. It's more just supporting it and then pulling back and drafting. For me, when I was learning to spin, I used to like really grip it, and that doesn't give you a lot of stretch there. You can see that's not really wanting to go. But when you just loosen up your hand and just kind of hold it, you can see how the fiber just slips through there. So yeah, it's really a relaxing, meditative practice. I really enjoy it. I apologize I'm not looking at you. I do have to watch kind of how much I'm drafting at a time as I spin. But overall, you know, this is a really nice fiber. It's got a little bit of toothiness to it. I mean, I can feel it. It's kind of grabbing itself. Sorry, my husband's out grocery shopping right now, so I keep expecting him to walk in the door and be like, what the hell are you doing? So yeah, once you spin for a bit, you get a little pile here, and then you just change your hooks as you go to evenly distribute the fiber on your bobbin. So I'm going to grab another little hunk here and keep going. So yeah, as I was saying, maybe I'll just chat and tell you about my time in Austin. I do have a little vlog, not really a vlog. I have some film footage I took while I was at the yarn shops in Austin. I went to 3 different yarn shops. The first we stopped at was called The Knitting Cup. It is also located in Georgetown, kind of in the downtown area. It's in a really cute, historic, I believe craftsman style building. I'm trying to recall in my memory now what it looked like, but I'd have to look back at the film footage. Really cute shop. Every room is pretty much jam-packed with yarn, and then they have a lovely little classroom space as well. And so had a little chat with the owner, whose name was Shawnee. Shawnee was the name of the owner. She's absolutely delightful to chat with. So we were talking a little bit about Madeline Tosh and what's going to happen with that company now that it's been sold to Jimmy Beam's Wool. So yeah, her and I had a nice little chat. That yarn shop, in addition to selling yarn, also sold loose leaf teas. And so I picked up a couple teas for here at the house. I've broken into one. It's a German chocolate flavor. Absolutely delicious. And the other one was called like Everything in the Garden or something like that. And it smelled delicious. It was nice and floral and fruity smelling. So that came home with me as well. So I've been enjoying that since I got back. And then I picked up some yarn from a local dyer called Moon Tower Dye Works. I'll show that off in my next podcast. Yeah, so that was really nice. The other shop we went to in Georgetown was called A Sheep at the Wheel, which is where I picked this fiber up. She had a huge selection of Texas-based indie dyers. Pretty much the whole back corner of the shop was all locally dyed yarn, particularly in Austin, but from across the state of Texas. I almost came home with 2 skeins of a merino silk blend. I can't remember what the name of the yarn company was, but it had something to do with chickens in the title, and it's not Nicole Huloco's Backyard Chicken Collection. It was like, I don't know, Chicken Knits or something like that was the name of the company. Anyways, she had this really pretty, like, pink with a dark purple speckle, magenta-y speckle on it, and a few other really pretty colors. It just glowed on the silk base, but I didn't want to spend the money on it, to be perfectly honest. I had just spent money at the Knitting Cup. I knew I was going to buy something in each shop, but I was reminding myself not to go too ham because I had just been at SAF like 2 weekends before and had just bought a bunch of stuff. So I put that back, and then I was like, you know what, let me get some spinning fiber. And this is what caught my eye out of all the braids there. She had a lot of braids. This was the only bat that I saw, and so I jumped on it. You can hear my bobbins probably chattering a little bit right now. If I hadn't have oiled my wheel, the bobbin chatter would probably be a lot more than it currently is. I'm actually going to stick this little bit aside because it's kind of a sherbet color. And I don't want to mix too much of that in just yet. So I'm just going to break off a little bit more orange fiber. Set that aside. And I actually think I am going to spin this a little bit finer. I mean, I've started to just naturally do that as I've chatted with you guys, but I do think I'm going to spin this a little bit of fiber. I think I was stealing fiber off of this braid to try and match up that other bobbin, and they might be more evenly matched now. So yeah, I went to a sheep at the wheel. That was lovely. And then went back to my in-laws' house, hung out with them that evening. And then the next day, before the rehearsal dinner, Amelia, my friend who got married, they had scheduled like a casual hangout at a cidery not far from where they lived, which just happened to be next door to Hill Country Weavers, which I have definitely stalked their website before. I've always remembered that yarn shop and thought, you know, for whenever my husband and I next go to Texas, that I need to stop there. You guys, this was a phenomenal yarn shop. It's up there in I would put it in top 5 yarn shops I've visited. It's on par with Fancy Tiger in Denver or Four Pearls in the Winter Haven, Orlando area, or even Black Mountain in Asheville. It's a really lovely store. So things I really liked about Hill Country Weavers, and some people might be the opposite. One, they didn't bother me when I walked in the door. I got like a hello, and then I was left to mind my own business and walk around and shop. As someone who can be kind of introverted, I appreciate not having to make small talk in conversation. I realize we all love yarn and we love knitting, and I am here putting myself out on the internet to talk to all of you lovely people. So it's kind of an enigma, but when I'm shopping for yarn, or in general when I'm shopping, I kind of like to be left alone. I typically like to walk the entire store, see everything, and then I will repeat 3 or 4 times often something that I like. I think my husband does that. So, as I was saying, I really like them because they just left you to shop and take everything in. So like I said, I like to kind of check out a store, walk around, see everything, and then when something catches my attention, I kind of look at that and I go back to look at other things that I like. So I did that. I have to say, in terms of selection, huge. They had a huge selection of, you know, your standard workhorse yarns, indie dyed yarns, mid-range yarns like Quince & Co. or Shibui, although that's borderline luxury. So yeah, it was a really nice shop. Once again, just like the others that I visited to, absolutely full of yarn, jammed packed. They had a big selection of, or not a big selection, but they had a nice selection of Rolex for spinning. I almost got some of those. And then they also had a nice selection of imported yarns. So they had Biches and Bishu. They had some yarns from Japan that weren't just Noro. They had the Ito yarns as well. So yeah, it was a really nice yarn shop. I really liked that they just kind of let you do your own thing while you're in there. They didn't try and sell you. They didn't ask you if you were shopping for anything in particular, which hallelujah, just let me be. So yeah, that was really nice. And then they had a good selection of things that are kind of on trend as well right now. So Brooklyn tweed. They had the Farmer's Daughter, Ritual Dye Works. That was the first time I had ever seen her yarns in person. They're really pretty. And then also Suburban Stitcher, who is another podcaster, and she's Texas based as well. Her yarns were really pretty as well. So yeah, I had a really good time while I was in Texas and really enjoyed seeing those yarn shops. And yeah, I'm just gonna get going on spinning this, and I'll check back in with you guys here in a minute. All right, you guys, I spent the rest of the night plying and finishing it up. So here it is, my finished Handspun that you guys joined me for. This took probably, I think each of the singles took about an hour, and then probably another hour or so of plying them together. So not too bad. So in the end, this ended up being around 135 yards of DK weight yarn, which is roughly 13 wraps per inch. It's 50 grams of fiber, and as I said, it's a semi-woolen preparation spin that I did. And yeah, I decided to name this Sunshine State of Mind after Florida here. So I have someone in mind who I want to send this off to as a gift, but thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye.